Hi, Stilled. How you doing? Welcome, welcome. How's your day so far? Your week so far? Yeah, true. It does match the description though. It's still ah. It's just funny ah. Hmm. Been fine, I guess. Hmm. Seems more like doesn't like hasn't been horrible. Or what do you think? I'm just struggling to be disciplined, procrastinating a lot. Hmm. We actually had the topic of procrastination a couple, um, I think like a week ago or something. Um, and it's actually like a really interesting topic. Um, because I feel like there's, there's different concepts sort of about motivation and how to do stuff and how to get stuff done. Um, and in therapy, usually you sort of like touch that topic at some point. Um, because it really like connects well to this thing of like having goals you don't achieve. Which is like I don't know, like one of the goals you don't achieve apparently if you're in therapy is like being like mentally healthy or mentally stable and stuff like this, right? So you are there in the first place because you have goals where you need like sort of like help or more support achieving them. Um or just because you haven't achieved them and you don't really know how or if the possibility is even there, sort of. Um, but we often see this picture of like, oh, you just need to have like more willpower, and that like discipline and like getting things done and stuff like this is only about willpower. And especially we have this from like these like there's been these memes, right, about like influencers um being like, oh, I wake up at like 3 o'clock in the morning and then I run a marathon and then I do like ice bathing and then it's like 7:15 and then I do I don't know, like I make food for the entire village and then I go working for like 20 hours in 2 hours and then I run another marathon and then I don't know, like learn how to become like a hairstylist in my free time, and then after that break, I don't know, work for another 20 hours in 2 hours or whatever. Like I don't know if you know those memes, but I've seen them like quite a lot actually a couple months ago. Um, how it's just sort of like portrayed in our society that it's like only sort of about willpower, and then you just have like endless amount of energy. And then you don't procrastinate, but you get like everything done. And if you do procrastinate, then it's only about like this, I don't know, the missing willpower. And then you just like you're sort of like portrayed as like weak and you just have to do it and you just have to pull yourself together and like sort of like in that direction, right? This is how we sort of like see society. Is that also like how you would describe it? Or do you have like a slightly different picture on this? I stopped believing in influences. Uh, A day in my life, yeah. Definitely. I mean, even if it, like, honestly, like, even if their a day in my life is, like, correct, it's still, like, they don't have the same job as other people, like, they're influencers. Which, first of all, makes them self-employed, which makes you able to decide when you want to work and when you don't want to work, and which makes you therefore able to sort of, like, adjust it to your entire, I don't know, to your best performance sort of pattern. So, for example, for someone who likes to sleep long, it's like starting work late, and for someone who likes to work in the middle of the night, to work in the middle of the night. So that's also already like a huge advantage, right? But so many of the things we sort of like give credit to in influencers is not something they like did on their own. For example, I don't know, like if they have like a really beautiful hair, they usually have like really great hairstylists and go to appointments like really frequently and get this whole like repair hair whatever thing. So it's like it's sort of like easier to make it like look good. Also, if you had like a lot of like I don't know like beauty operations and you have like permanent makeup, it's like you wake up and you look amazing because like well you're not like a regular person waking up, but you're just this like you wake up with like lashes on, you wake up with eyebrows done, you wake up with like skin basically like flawless, and then you need to put some moisturizer on and then you're like ready to go sort of. And that's your full makeup routine. Versus like other people just I don't know like need to look like that would need to put like way more effort in. And that's sort of like about the like work, I guess, or like effort and energy which has been put into it. We don't really see and we don't connect to the topic. But sort of going back to what I was like initially going at is that hi Lucia, welcome, welcome. We're at the moment talking about procrastination and discipline. Um, so yeah. But I'm I'm sort of fine. I would go more in depth on that later. Um, oh, do you struggle with English or hmm. Okay, interesting. Um, so yeah. What's in a mug? Just tea. Like a winter tea of I think it's called like caramelized pear. Um, it's a black tea with milk. Yeah. Mm, That's the word for the fear of long words. Oh my god. I'm not gonna even say that word. But nice of you to stop by, Lucia. I hope you enjoy your day as well. I sadly believe we can't really avoid long words in this stream too much, since like a lot of words connected to like mental health and the entire topic is like are really long, right? So sorry about that. All right. Not to derail the discussion here. Let's go back to what I was saying, to procrastination, and that is a word. Jesus Christ. Okay. um yeah, let's go back to procrastination and discipline. Because procrastination is not really something, like, in my eyes, from my perspective, it's not really something which means that you're not disciplined, or that you don't, I don't know, that you're weak or lazy or like any of those things. Thank you. You too, Lucio. um, but it's sort of, yeah, but it's also like you can't really avoid them. But Jesus Christ, I'm starting with this for the third time now. Um, yeah, so I don't think that procrastination has anything to do really with discipline, or that you're lazy, weak, or anything. I don't, like, I know that in our society, this is like really like usually like sort of the logic we have around it, but I don't really believe in it anymore. I think procrastination is more about not having actively thought and being fully aware of the goals you do want to achieve. And let me explain this for a second, because I feel like in our society we have a lot of goals which sort of like come from the outside, because we're not as good to sort of like learn that like we need to make goals for ourselves, and that like to sort of like be separate from expectations from other people, and not be sort of like buy into those expectations and try to fulfill them. And I don't think this is like something like unnatural or something, right? I don't think this is like a mistake we do a lot of the time. I just think it's like really natural to try and fulfill other people's expectations. But I feel like, especially because of social media and like just being able to like globally even have expectations, I think it's like really easy to have a lot of expectations from society influence you. And so the, I don't know, like very classic expectations are that you like low-key need to be fit, because otherwise you're like lazy and unhealthy and like, I don't know, maybe ugly, whatever. Sort of always depends also like on the circle in society you like move in and surround yourself with. Um, oh, I dropped the pen. So there's a lot of expectations, and there's a lot of expectations on women, there's a lot of expectations on men, there's a lot of expectations on everybody. Not everybody feels the same expectations, but there's definitely like lots of expectations around us. And these expectations give us certain goals. For example, going to the gym. And if we have, I feel like if we adapt a goal, which is not really our goal, but just a goal from society, we don't feel motivated towards it, because because there is no motivation, right? Like the goal is coming from society, so it's more like we feel pressure. We feel negative motivation, maybe, like sort of like, oh, if I don't do this, then I'm like a bad human, or then I'm lazy, or then I don't fulfill expectations from society, and I might be like become an outcast or something. But it's not really something we have motivation towards. Not like if you look at like athletes, for example, they have motivation to get out of bed and to like do this, like, I don't know how many kilometers run or something, because they know like, okay, there's this next like goal I have of like getting the new time or whatever, and they actually have motivation on themselves. Like they don't Well, some of them probably do. Like, there's also a lot of pressure in those situations. Like, it depends on the situation, okay? Everything is complicated in life. But there's definitely like some people who then really have that goal and do that out of free will. Like, they don't feel negative pressure towards it. And so that's where their motivation is coming from, right? Like fitness influencers who like go to the gym like 6 times a week or something and like make all those videos, like they have motivation to do that. Versus the person who's like working 40 hours a week and just doesn't want to be unhealthy, doesn't have the motivation to go to gym 6 times a week and like look like, I don't know, the Hulk or something. Like, we would maybe like that because it's like, I don't know, like it's one of those things where like if you could choose to look like a top model sort of, like you probably would. I don't know, like if it doesn't cost you anything, you know, and it's like if you just associate it with something positive, you would. And so there's like I just picked gym as like some like an example. Doesn't like it's more of like an example for the entire thing. So there's like a lot of expectations and goals which come from the outside where we don't have direct motivation for, where we rather have this like negative motivation of like not like needing or like wanting to fit into society, wanting to be a part of society and not wanting to be an outcast, not wanting to be isolated and stuff like this. And then there's goals, for example, from our parents and expectations from them or like our family, and which are sort of like in the same basket because they're also like expectations from the outside, right? But they're definitely like closer to us and we're more dependent on them. And some of those expectations already start when we were kids and when we were actually dependent on them. So those expectations and goals are like way heavier sort of and way bigger to us and influence us even more than the goals of society. And then we have some goals we actually want to achieve our own. And then we have some goals we don't necessarily want to achieve, but because we live in the system we live in, we sort of need to. So, for example, having a job which pays decent money. Like, it's not really... Like, you might not, you know, like want to work in finances, but when you thought about working in art, you were like, well, that's not gonna pay my bills, so now you work in finances. And there's definitely like some people who have like the option to just like pick the job they really want. But for example, doing any type of job for 40 hours is probably something we like wouldn't choose if we wouldn't need to, sort of. Like, I feel like everybody would probably work less, like part-time or something, to have like free time and then like also have a job. Because like people do sort of like a job. But yeah, not really 40 hours a week or more. So those are like goals we sort of like, we need to do because of the system we live in. It's also like, I don't know, like doing taxes and I don't know, like saving money to buy an apartment someday. It's, I don't know, like a lot of them are just sort of like connected to society. Or for example, like buying a car, even though like you personally don't really need a car, but you need to get to work and this is the only way, and then you need a car. So yeah, there's a lot of goals around us. And the goals we actually have positive motivation for, which is the best motivation, are only the goals we really want to do for ourselves, which are sadly a tiny amount of those, usually. And which are especially a tiny amount of those if we don't actively think about all those goals. And especially with procrastination, I feel like it happens more often and heavier, sort of, if we have all of these goals around us and we don't really we don't want to recognize that it's not our goal, but only the society's goal. So we still have sort of the expectation towards ourselves that we fulfill that goal, even though we have no motivation towards it and don't want to work towards it. And then we just don't fulfill it the entire time, and that makes us feel shitty, and that makes us feel like we procrastinate, even though procrastination in that moment just means we just don't want to do that. We don't have motivation to do that. Like, if you would have motivation to do it, you would do it. And that's sort of like the low-key funny thing. Like, most people who feel like procrastination, like if you ask them like about things they want to do, they actually do them. And it doesn't matter if they're like hard to do or if it takes long to do them, but they get done. But then with these goals, they don't feel any motivation towards. That's where they like sort of like are calling themselves lazy and weak and whatever, and like they don't have energy and all of those sort of like negative words, just because they don't fulfill goals they don't want to fulfill. But they just feel sort of like they need to fulfill them. And that procrastination and all these negative assumptions about yourself, those can actually take more energy out of you. And those can actually make you act less, even towards the goals you do feel motivated towards. Because you get afraid of goals in general, because you feel like, oh no, you won't achieve them, or like, oh, you have so much on your plate already, you don't have time for it. So I feel like with procrastination, it can really, really help to write all of the goals down on a list and then really consider which of them you want to do. Like, which are the goals you actually want to do and why do you want to do them? And really like think about the goal in like with everything it takes. Because that's the other thing. Because we have so many expectations around things we don't really want to do or put a lot of effort in. For example, that like fitness influencer who goes like to the gym 6 to 7 times a week is like counting the calories the entire day, like every day. That person maybe has the best whatever, like so beautiful figure, whatever, so strong, all of that. And now we feel like, oh, we want to look like this. But if we were to consider everything it takes to look like that, not only going to the gym 6 to 7 times a week, like they do, which is like, I don't think this is the optimum. This is just an example. And then also like tracking all of your food and preparing like proper meals and all of that stuff, eating that much protein and all of this. It's like, I think a lot of us wouldn't actually want that goal anymore. And at least for me, that was like one of those topics where it's just sort of like, once I actually thought about it, what that goal would like mean for me and my life and for my free time. And that it would essentially mean like, okay, like do less with friends, go more to the gym, game less, go more to the gym, eat less of the like things I really like and make like really healthy food instead. And like, for example, if you go to the city, don't just go to any restaurants anymore, but actually only go to the healthy options and all of that. Like, once I really saw the goal with all it would take, I was like, okay, actually, like, no, I don't want to do this. Like, this is not worth it to me. Like, of course, I would like, if you would gift me the perfect body, I would take it. But like, for the price it costs, no, I don't want to. But knowing all of this, thinking about this actively, takes away the shame. Like, it takes away the pressure as well. It takes away the shame that you didn't achieve that goal, because now you know you actually never wanted to, and it's not worth achieving it. for you. And it also takes away the pressure because it's something you can get like put off of your list because like you don't want to achieve that anymore. You don't need to like, I don't know, like bum yourself out the next day in like, oh, I haven't gone to the gym and stuff like this. And you're able to make goals which actually fit the bill, you know, like for example, I want to be like healthier. I want to be fitter. I don't necessarily want to look like I'm a fitness model or anything. I just want to be like more physically capable, sort of. So my goal from looking like a snack changed to just like doing some physical activity a couple times a week. So I just like I built a little bit of muscle and you know, like keep moving because it makes me like feel better about myself. And I really notice how like, I don't know, how it feels nice. But that takes all of the pressure away to like count calories, make proper food, like watch all of those things like so directly. And it also takes the pressure away to like never take pauses because I can take pauses, like it's fine. And I can like change it. Like instead of going to the gym, I can play tennis with friends or I don't know, even go to a festival, stuff like this. And all of those things fulfill the goal. So I don't know. I feel like that's really something which can help a great deal. Because dealing with this feeling of procrastination and with the negative self-talk, which is often connected to it, it can really hurt your self-image. It can really hurt your self-confidence, and your confidence is sort of the thing getting you to do stuff and doing the things you like. Even if it's a bit scary sometimes on all of those. And I don't know, so I think it's like really, I don't know, sort of important to challenge that belief maybe still and actually sort of like think about, okay, like which of these goals, with all of it would take, which of them do I still want to achieve? And which do I don't want to achieve? Or which goals do I want to change and adapt better to my life? Because there's only so much time we have, and I don't feel like we should blame ourselves for not having 100 hours a day, but only 24. I feel like blaming ourselves for having 24 hours only is not something really reasonable. And I know that when you say it like this, for everybody, it seems like it's unreasonable. But I feel like so often we really just blame ourselves for not having 100 hours a day. Because we blame ourselves for all of the goals we haven't achieved, even though we just didn't have the time for it and already did our best. Yeah. If I procrastinate, I mostly do other tasks until I have just that to do. Like the priority is low, but it has to be done. Oftentimes, I do household chores as procrastination, and then I think to myself, oh, I just avoid at the moment. Yeah. I feel like procrastination, like that's what procrastination does, right? Like it makes you like low-key feel useless. It makes you feel like you're wasting time. Like, I don't know, like it so makes sense, I think, for our bodies to then try to avoid it and do other tasks instead. Because it wants to avoid the feeling of like being useless and like sort of like helping yourself be like, oh no, I like do stuff, but it doesn't want to waste energy on tasks it doesn't want to do. Or isn't like standing behind them fully, but wants to do like rather tasks which seem like useful. Like for example, household chores. So I don't know. I feel like so often procrastination for me just vanished once I actually thought about the goals. Because, like, I don't know, like, you can just change the goal and, like, sort of like see how it fits in your priority. And, like, yeah, some goals just fall away, to be fair, but that's not really negative because they only fall away if you, like, really don't want to do them anymore. And if you think about them real hard and then you're like, okay, well, I like hate doing this, but at the same time, this actually does seem like the best way to achieve X, Y, Z, whatever. Um, I think you're gonna gain motivation, actually. Hi, Four. Welcome, welcome. How you doing? I'm glad you're back. Our body is always searching for ways to preserve energy. It's so tasks you don't even want to do and don't give you something are radically shut off of your get energy for list. Exactly. Exactly. So all of these tasks where you don't fully stand behind them, you don't want to do them. You don't have you not only have not motivation to do them, but yeah, you actively avoid them and rather do the things you have motivation for, sort of. And I don't know, like procrastination is really just a signal that you need to think about those goals more because apparently, like, I don't know, like I feel like to me as like probably autistic, it's like I think about this maybe more like clearly or whatever than others because I have to learn this properly. While like for others this is like more intuitive, so they don't have to learn it, but also they don't learn it then, you know? And I don't know, like it's just if you do something where you don't know why necessarily, and you're like in your mind you're like, well, actually I want to do something else. Like to me this is always a sign there's something going on the inside which I'm not aware of. Like this is not I'm lazy, this is not I'm weak or whatever, but there is like something in the equation is missing or going wrong, and I don't know why, but I have to think about it. And if you then like just sit down, like think about that task, or you don't need to sit down, you can just like stand in the kitchen and be like, wait, like what is actually the issue? Like, do I don't want to go to the gym because I don't know, like maybe it's cold outside, or do I don't want to go to the gym because I'm already like low on energy and I feel like then I'm gonna be like all out on energy or like overexert myself, or I don't want to go to the gym because I actually want to do something else and I don't see any value in going to the gym. Like I don't know, like there can be like so many stories behind this, but bet your ass there is one. Like for sure you have some story why you don't want to go to the gym and why you don't see it as useful. So I don't know, and sometimes this can also just be that you don't think it's possible to achieve the goal. Like sometimes, for example, with like, that's the story which is usually low-key evolving around like getting therapy. It's like for some people, they just don't really, like they procrastinate with it because they don't believe in the outcome. Like they don't believe that therapy is actually going to do something, going to help them or change anything. And this is also really important to notice. Like, if you don't believe in therapy, like, and if you notice, like, okay, you actually, like, you don't want to start it because you don't believe in the purpose of it or whatever. And then at the same time, you know, but actually, like, people say therapy works and, like, isn't this a bit hypocritical? Like, this now gives you the option to actually, like, research it better and find out if it is helping or not helping and sort of, like, convince yourself and make like a proper decision. And this is so like this happens so often. But we just, I don't know, like what we learn, I feel like most of the time is not be curious to what this says or what it like what our body is trying to tell us, but only blame and shame ourselves. Only be like, oh, I'm just lazy, I'm weak, I'm so undisciplined, I'm like, blah, 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 yada, yada. This is not helping. We're not, I don't know, like, I think it's so sad actually that we just try to tell people that they're shitty. Because that's not the case. Like, we're all struggling, but we're good people, you know? Like, I don't know, and it doesn't help to just, also it's like so fake so often. Like, honestly, like, so many of those people who are like really determined sort of on like making that separation between like, I'm disciplined and you're just lazy and weak if you don't fulfill those tasks, especially those people are so often so insecure about specifically this and feel like, okay, if they don't do this, they're actually so shitty themselves. And it's yeah, they like need this for their self-image to be better than others, but it's like, this is no, I don't know. This is not really, that's not the way. Yeah. So how are you doing for? How's your week so far? Still, what do you think about the procrastination thing, by the way? You can say if you don't, if you're not convinced by something I say, by the way. It's making the conversation even more interesting, so don't be scared to be like, this doesn't make sense to me. How you mean this? Like, bitch, you telling me what? Nah. Also, I want to show you guys flowers. Because today evening, I told you on Monday, like, we're going to Germany for like a short trip. And we're starting today evening with friends, and then we're gonna sleep at like my grandparents, actually my step grandparents. Anyways, doesn't really matter. And then we're gonna go to like an event in Germany which is called Spiel, and it's sort of like a huge, how do you say that? Like a huge, not like Comic Con, but like board game thing where like so many people showcase their board games and like anything board game related. And it's one of the biggest ones in like Europe, I think. And I've never been there. And our neighbors sort of were like, "Hey, you want to come?" You know. And so we're gonna go with them, and I'm so excited. Anyways, point being, I'm gonna visit my grandparents, and I asked them if they need anything from the Netherlands. And so we bought like stuff for them. Like, actually, they asked me to import coffee. I don't know why, but I don't really see the Netherlands as having like amazing coffee brands or whatever, but apparently they do. I don't know. Um, and Vla actually, which is sort of like pudding, but apparently it's different. But I also bring them flowers, of course, and I made sort of like a tiny bouquet out of like 2 bouquets. And look at those. Look at the prettiness of this. You like, it's like slightly over, like the glowing too much right now, I think. Like, can you see the colors properly? This is so beautiful. Like, seriously. So beautiful. I love the combination. I just literally, I bought like the bouquet out of like, so I bought like a bouquet of flower, like only the roses, and then like everything else. So I just like, it was easy, you know? I just like put them together, fit. That was it. Like, I didn't do much. But the colors are so pretty. I can't. It's one of the, it's so beautiful. I love it. Oh my God, like, it's so beautiful. I can't, like, I can't shut up about it. I, like, the entire time I just look at it, I think, like, oh, the colors. I would want some white to balance it out, but it's good. Actually, it's, yeah, I feel like on the camera it's a bit too, it's coming out like a little bit too bright, maybe. Let me make a picture. I don't know if that's, well, that's also changing the colors actually. Well, anyways. But the roses are like not as orange. It's more like slight pink and apricot or something. But yeah. Hi, young Fluffy. Hola, welcome. How you doing? How was your week? So, for been a hectic week work-wise, but mentally good. Oh, I'm glad. That's good, right? So, what do you plan for the weekend? Do you plan to like relax, give yourself some rest, recover from the hectic work week? I washed my hair yesterday and I tried like a new method to like dry them. And yesterday it looked bomb. It looks absolutely amazing. Today it looks like absolute shit. I don't know what happened. Like seriously. I'm so disappointed. I actually really love how it's so bright. It's like genuinely, I just love how it's like full fall autumn theme. What's up? Well, we're having like a mental health check-in. We talked about procrastination and discipline before. And now we're sort of, yeah, I think we sort of like finished that topic up. Yeah, so now it's just like back to zero, back to just offering space to bring up new topics, talk about your day, sort of share whatever you want to share. And yeah. That's sort of what's going on now. So do you have something you want to share? Maybe like how your day has been or how your week has been? Young Floovy. Is that, by the way, how you say your name? I'm really sorry if you don't. And yeah, as always, if you guys don't have any topics or any specific topics you want to talk about, I definitely have some sort of like backup topics we can talk about instead as well. But don't be afraid to sort of like bring anything up you want to talk about or not, or ask any tough questions, or just talk about your day and ask for some emotional support. We try to, I don't know, sort of be here for everything, if that makes sense. I'm broke now, but it's for a good cause. I just bought my brother a car. Oh, damn. Nice, though. But that's a huge investment, no? Like, are you okay broke or like broke? Like, I hope you're okay broke. Like, I feel like genuinely in like different countries, I'm broke means like, can mean like very different things. So I just sort of like, considering like you're German, I just sort of expect you to be like, okay, broke. Like, not about to live on the street, broke. But like, I just bought something really expensive and now my savings are gone. And I look at my bank account and I'm like, I was rich a second ago. Yeah. Well, that's the difference though, right? Like, I feel like, I don't know, like, I feel like sometimes when I talk to an American, like, I talk to an American friend, and when she said she's like broke, like, it was sort of like I now work like 3 jobs to hold on to dear life, sort of. Um, so it's like a very different I'm broke to like to the German, well, not maybe German, but just the more fortunate person. I'm broke, right? Yeah, exactly. But I definitely agree. It's like always, now I have a tinnitus out of nowhere. Nope, not going away. Ah, beautiful. You know, the tinnitus could also just have like a nice melody or something, but no, it's just like, like, thank you. Oh, now it got even higher. Amazing. Go to my parents every Sunday for roast dinner, but with brother's family as well. So looking forward to that. But half term next week, so I have time off to spend with my son. Nice, amazing. Oh, that's good. Are you excited to spend time with your son? Do you have something special planned already? Or no? I kind of feel good about that because I can be the help I would have needed in the past. Yeah. I think that's really amazing and that feels really empowering, right? Like, you're a provider, Fluffy. You're like cash daddy. Right? It must be really empowering. I feel like, I don't know, I can really relate to this. Like, with, I don't know, whenever I'm like able to like offer my sister something or like somebody else something that I really had to learn sort of the hard way or sort of like achieve in a hard way, then I'm just like, yes, slay. Yeah, it's pronounced that way. Do you read books like Atomic Habits? You seem the type. I actually haven't read Atomic Habits, but my husband has read Atomic Habits and told me about it. It seems like a really interesting book, and I would definitely add it to my reading list at some point, but at the moment, I'm way more interested in psychology books. So, what I'm reading. No, no, it's not here. Wait, let me get the book I'm reading right now. It's this one. It's called Hold Me Tight. And it's basically about like relationships and how to have a healthy relationship and all of that stuff. But it's about a lot of psychology sort of within relationships. And it's like I don't love it in every chapter. Like I do feel like sometimes it's uh, well, like it's a really good book. It has a lot of knowledge for sure. The writing style could be more interesting sometimes. But yeah, I guess not every book can be as good as. So these were the other books I read, and this is my absolute favorite. Do you know this one? To Fight Against This Age? Young Fluvi? Like, this is on fascism and humanism, and oh my god, I love it. It's actually written by a Dutch person. Like, the author is called Rob Riemann, and he's Dutch. I didn't even know, but absolutely amazing. Sadly, it already has like water damage because I took it to. Oh, you don't even see it. Well, that's good, I guess. Because I took it to the pool, but yeah. But yeah, To Fight Against This Age, chef's kiss. Absolutely love it. Love it, love it, love it. The version I have actually has sort of like a different chapter in the beginning. So the beginning is the eternal return of fascism, and so there's like introduction, the eternal return of fascism, and then the return of Europa. And let me check if I. I really love the last part the most, and I'm like, so I think the introduction, like either the introduction or the eternal return of fascism was something where I felt like good, but the best was the return of Europa. Like that part was wow. Absolutely love it. Then I read Getting the Love You Want. Sort of like also about like relationship, psychology and stuff like this. Has at the end like some exercises sort of. I didn't like, I sort of like, I read through them and I think like, okay, they can be good, but I feel like they only can be good if like both partners like have actually committed to like proper honesty, which is sometimes not really possible for some partners, which in the first place leads to the disconnection. So it's sort of like one of those books where it's like, if you're disconnected, I'm not sure if that's gonna fix it. Because I feel like somebody like you first need to sort of like commit, and then you can do those exercises and they're gonna help. But if you don't commit, then well, yikes. But the stories mentioned in these in this books also like they're really beautiful, I think. But sort of like same-ish as the Hold Me Tight book. While I do believe I think the Hold Me Tight book is a little bit better. And then I read The Drama of the Gifted Child. And this one sometimes a little bit too sort of like definitive stated, sort of. Like with a little bit too much confidence in the outcome, which is not deterministic. But I think that's just something like I'm annoyed at because, yeah, I might be autistic and that's sort of why I think. But yeah. So, yeah, these were the books. Coming back to the normal topic. But yeah. Which books can you really recommend? Young Fluvi. Oh, actually, yeah. I have so many books I still want to read. I shouldn't be asking for more book recommendations. I still have like, how many are those? I have like 5 books or something still. Like, ooh. Yeah. I, I my free time is planned. He's a teenager, so nothing planned, no. Just see how much energy we have each day and pick something. And that sounds nice for... Oh, I'm glad, or I hope you're gonna be able to spend some quality time with him. And just, I don't know, like make some memories which are like hard to forget. But in a positive way. And the fact, why is it weird, Fluffy, to see your name there? Okay, let me... okay. Is it about how to like recycle clothing? Or like there's a lot of different different things here with the name, sadly. Ah, fair. Well, Kraken is also there. So I thought it's about cycling. Yeah, it can be about cycling as well. So that's sort of like the thing I'm like okay, like what are we talking about specifically? Because this name has many meanings. Also about business and stuff. Oh, okay. So less psychology in terms of like mental health and more psychology in terms of business. That's interesting. See ya, Fluffy. I can personally like only recommend to read some type of relationship psychology book. Like there's many out there and I bet some are shit, so like read a good one, I guess. But I don't know, I think this can teach so much about actual like how to have like a happy relationship and a long lasting one at that. And sort of like I don't know, just sort of like, you know, like fix issues before they become like a big problem sort of situation. So, and like a lot of them have like really good examples and examples of like other relationships which just sort of like give more insight. And you can even use this with like relationships about like, I don't know, just like friendship relationships, you know? Or even like, well, I guess parent-child relationships are not like, well, I guess not in this book because this is really like couples only sort of, or like equal relationships only, whereas parent-child relationships are not really equal. I guess like a parent-child relationship book would be really, really good as well. Because most of these like relationship books definitely evolve around sort of like overcoming like parent-child patterns and childhood trauma and sort of like warped worldview or belief system which has been built in childhood. So I guess really like a parent-child psychology book is also already sort of like touching on the subject of relationships or helping with that as well. So I think maybe just like a parent-child psychology book. Like the small one I was reading. I do think it wasn't like bad or anything. Like I think some of the statements were too deterministic, but apart from that, I think it was like really was good knowledge for sure. So anybody want to do like a mental health check-in and sort of just share how they feel right now, today? You can sort of like start with anything. I can also go first if that helps. All right. I'm gonna go first.
先週、仕事を辞めた。会社から徒歩圏内のアパートを引き払うため、荷造りに追われる日々だ。こんなとこ、とっとと出ちまいたい。何か残ってる。うわ、何年前だこれ。ああ。おお、生きてる生きてる。わあ、高校の時の携帯か。コウタとトールさん。高校時代つるんでた二人の写真がたくさん出てくる。なんだこれ。同じようなコウタの自撮りばっか。あいつよく俺の携帯で勝手に自撮りしてたから。コウタは高校の同級生から距離を置かれてた俺とも仲良くしてくれた。普通の友達とはしないようなこともしてた。友達？友達だ。違う関係にすることもできたのかもしれないけど、はっきりとしないまま、高3の時俺は親の転勤であの町を離れて、そしてトールさんは5年前に死んじまった。葬式は仕事で行けなかったんだよな。会社のためにいろんなもん犠牲にしても、こうして辞めちまった後には何も残んねえのにな。トールさん、葬式行けなくてすみませんでした。今でもたまにコウタやトールさんの夢を見る。いつもの笑顔で仕事辞めた次の日の夢にも出てきた。あの町に戻ってみるか。もうコウタは俺のことを忘れてるかもしれない。でも会いに行かなければきっと後悔する。ひでえ辞め方した俺のことを笑ってくれねえかな。トールさん、仕事辞めて戻ってきちまいました。 あんたが住んでたアパート、大家のおばあちゃん、まだピンピンしてましたよ。徹さんが死んじまってから5年、もう徹さんの年齢をとっくに越しちまった。コウタは元気かな？あいつは確か実家の酒屋を継いでるはず。店行ってみるか。
喜一郎？
え？
やっぱ喜一だ。めっちゃ久しぶり。びっくりした。
お、
徹先輩の命日覚えてたんだ。なんてな、お前が命日なんか覚えてるわけねえか。
コウタ。
何？
お前ちょっと背伸びた。
なんで10年ぶりに会ってそれなんだよ、変なやつ。
いや、実際でかくなったろ。ああ、そっか、10年ぶり。
どうしてお前がそんな顔すんの？俺を置いて東京行ったのはお前なのに。冗談だよ。そんな顔すんなって。俺らは別に、そういうのじゃねえんだしよ。徹先輩よかったっすね。こいつ来んの久しぶりでしょ。
ああ。ずいぶん派手な花だな。
ああ、これかっこよくね？備える用の花売り切れててさ。
適当なやつ。
いいだろ、綺麗な方が。先輩派手好きだったし。いっつもガラシャツ着てただろ。
確かに、特攻服もバイクも派手だったな。これ、徹さんのバイクの色だし、いいかもな。
だろう、この街の海の色ってやつだ。ギジ、いつまでこっちいんの？てか、いつ帰ってきたの？なんで帰ってきたの？今日この後どうすんの？
質問多すぎんだろ。今日は何もねえよ。毎日何もねえけど。
じゃあ後で飲みに行こう。俺まだ一応仕事中なんだよね。配達終わったら行けっから、18時に商店街の花屋のあたりで。決まりな。それでさ、ノブくんも結婚したんだよ。
あいつも結婚とかすんのか？
だよな、まさかすぎるんだって。つうか、お前だってあっさり東京行ったじゃねえかよ。裏切り者。
なんだよ、裏切りって。
俺はお前に。喜一もさ、なんかあったから帰ってきたんだろ？
仕事を辞めた。
なんで？
上司殴った。まったくお前は。すみません。ですから、もう、
マジかよ！机ひっくり返した？壁に穴開けたりした？
机ひっくり返して椅子壊した。
変わってね。
さすがに反省してる。
喜一も反省することとかあるんだね。
当たり前だろう。理由があっても殴んのはダメだったな。ガキの頃から成長してねえなって。それで、高校時代とか思い出して懐かしくてよ。
それで帰ってきたんだ。
まあそう。もう、俺に恨みがあって殴りかかってくる奴とかいねえだろうし。あと、お前に会いたかったから。海とか見てえと思って。やってみたいこともあったから。
やってみたいこと？
まあちょっとな。
へえ、いいじゃん。やっぱみんな、ちゃんと前向いて自分の人生歩んでんだな。
お前だってそうだろ。実家継いで店長やってんじゃねえか。
まあね、俺には仕事しかないですから。なあ、お前んち行っていい？飲み直そうぜ。喜一とこうやって歩いてんの不思議な感じする。
お前、昔から縁石の上歩くの好きだよな。転ぶぞ。一人の時もそうやって歩いてんの？
なわけねえだろ。
危な。大丈夫かよ。これも昔から変わってねえな。絶対転ぶじゃん、お前。
暗くてよかった。
何？ほら、着いたぞ。
トーレス先輩のアパートじゃん。
それどころか同じ部屋なんだよな。偶然な。この辺だとずば抜けて家賃安くて。
そりゃこんだけボロけりゃね。
家賃35,000円。
安っ。
でも一応トイレも風呂もついてんだ。
おお、マジで同じ部屋だ。お邪魔します。
適当に座って。
喜一さ、やりたいことって？
小説とか書いてみたいと思って。はい、水。笑うなよ。
笑わねえよ。いいじゃん。喜一はヤンキーなのに昔から本読むの好きだったもんな。俺は字の本読めなかったけど。
そうだな。そうだったな。
今は読めるからな。新聞も読んでるし。
はいはい。
昔はさ、この部屋でよく3人で漫画読んだりしたけどさ、徹先輩も本とか読まなかったよな。
あの人は教科書すら怪しかっただろう。バカだけど、かっこよかったんだよな。お手本みたいな不良だったよ。なんで、ああいう人から先に死んじまうんだろうな。
葬式来なかったよな。
うん。仕事をどうしても休めなかったんだよ。
俺より喜一の方が世話になってただろ。
ああ、出張変わってくれる人がいなかったんだって。
昔のお前なら飛んできただろうに。
なんだよ、イラついてる？やっぱ、そんなに好きだったんだな、徹さんのこと。
は？お前もあの噂。あれちげえから。俺は別に徹先輩のこと好きとかじゃん。そもそもあの頃はお前と。
俺と何？俺らはそういうのじゃないって言ったのお前だろ。
ああ。お前は、喜一は俺に好きとか言ったことねえだろ。その顔、変わんないね。俺らにこういうの似合わないよ。好きとか嫌いとか恥ずかしいだろ。やめよやめよ。あの日、葬式の日、お前来ると思ったからさ。俺探したんだよ、お前のこと。
うん。
なあ、10年ぶりにやったらさ、やっぱ具合違うのかな？
やるってお前、
いいじゃん。どうせ付き合ってる相手とかいねえんだろ。試してみようよ。面白そうだろ。
でも
何？飲みすぎたから無理。そんなことねえよな。
コウタ。俺もお前に好きって言われたことねえよ。
そうだね。でももう言ってあげない。
コウタ、
帰ったと思った。タバコ吸いたくなっちゃって。ああ、何？
俺、コウタの笑顔が見たくて帰ってきたんだよ。
え？
お前、昔からよく笑ってたろ。また見たくてな。
俺そんなヘラヘラしてるかね？まあ確かに喜一が上司殴ってクビになったのがツボだったけど。
クビじゃねえ。自分で辞めたんだよ。それ。持ってきてくれた酒、全然手つけてねえな。
ああ。いいよいいよ。それうまいから今度飲んでみて。
俺一人だとあんま飲まねえから、また来いよ。
いいよ。寒いな、この部屋。
寒いから、お前も早く布団入れ。
へいへい。オイルヒーターとか買わねえの？まさかもう寝た？マジでもう寝てるし。寒くてもお前がいれば平気とか言えないわけ？なんつって。喜一？寝てんのかよ。びっくりさせんな。もう絶対好きになんねえからな。お前さ、よく酒飲んだ後に文章書こうと思うよな。
こんぐらいなら何も変わんねえよ。思いついた時に書かないと忘れるからよ。後で構ってやるから。
タバコ買ってくれ。ついでに何か買ってこよっか。
いや、大丈夫。
コンビニと。高校の時も徹先輩の部屋で食べったり、みんなでコンビニ行ったりしたな。
コウタ君聞いてます？北商業の片桐がうちに乗り込むって息巻いてるらしいっす。あいつら大勢連れてきますよ。うちも集められるだけ集めましょうか。
いやー、俺今日予定あるから。
予定？ もうこの辺は北商業さえ抑えちまえばうちの天下なんすよ。向こうから来るっつってんすよ。せっかくの機会でしょ。ボコっちまいましょうよ。
うるせえな、今いいとこなんだって。
コータ、いる？あ、はい、います。
徹先輩だ。お疲れ様です。
いたいた。よー、コータ。先輩、お疲れ様です。
徹先輩。
徹先輩だ。
ほら、暴走族の。横のやつでけえな。
いかつ。
周りの一年ビビってますよ。
そう？お前暇？ラーメン食いに行かね？こいつも一緒なんだけど。
行きます。
おお、行こう行こう。今日は予定あるとか言ってたじゃないですか。
うちの店の手伝いすっから嘘じゃないし、これ戻しといて。
腹減った。早く行こうぜ。
はーい。
コウタ君、トップとしての自覚あるんだろうか。コウタ、そいつが喜一だよ。成海喜一郎。
兄の。
そう。
ってことは、こいつが、中学の時に、おまわりチャリでぶん殴ったっていう。
そうは見えねえよな。面白いのよ、こいつ。仲良くしてやって。仲良くしてやるってなんすか？
おお、徹先輩にその態度。
生意気で困るね。おっちゃん、ラーメン3つください。はいよ。
信じらんねえ。こんなぼーっとしたやつが。
熱い熱い。
白い特攻服が返り血で真っ赤に染まるっていう。本当にこいつのことなんすかね。
そんな噂あんの？ウケる。洗濯してるし、真っ赤じゃねえぞ。な、面白いだろ？
誰か来る。おう。待て、なんだよ。俺がいるからって出てかなくてもいいだろ。俺。鼻血出てるよ。それで拭いとけ。すんげえあざ。学校の奴らと。
いや、よそのチームの奴らに待ち伏せされてた。
やっぱ暴走族って大変だね。
じゃ問題ねえよ。それに、大変なのはお前の方だと思うけどな。
なんで
？1年なのに3年生までぶっ飛ばしちまってよ。恨み買いまくってんだろ。お前を引きずり下ろしたいって奴らがたくさんいて、一回転がり落ちたらやってけねえだろ。この学校で。俺
あんまり、そういうのこだわりないんだけどね。周りに担がれてトップってことになってるけどさ。まあ、お前の言う通りで、誰が来たってかじゃ問題ないね。さて。
待て。兄は暴走族じゃねえ。
わざわざ呼び止めて言うこと？特攻服着てバイク乗ってたら暴走族なんだよ。兄っつったら県内で一番でけえ暴走族だってみんな思ってるよ。実際は何？グレン隊？ギャング？やべえ、次体育だ。じゃあね。
賑やかなやつ。
あれ？今日は先客がいる。
天気いいから。
でもそこで寝ると風邪ひくぞ。俺はこの間屋上で寝た後高熱を出した。
どんだけ寝てたんだよ。こないだティッシュありがとな。
ねえよ、そんなの。
今日はお前が鼻血か。
北商業の奴らだよ。あいつら束になって集団で来るからムカつくんだよな。まあ帰り討ちにしてやったからいいんだけどよ。けど疲れた。
ティッシュは持ってねえわ。
いいの。
飴しかねえ。飴食うか。
逆になんで飴持ってんの？
ほら、どれでも。
おばあちゃんかよ。ありがとう。そういや4時間目の体育出そびれたな。バスケだったのに。成宮バスケうまそうだね。
背でかいからよく言われるけど普通だ。 今の一瞬で寝た。帰っか。お前、また風邪ひくぞ。うん。
なるみ。おはよう。
ああ。
昨日ありがとな。
昨日。
学ラン。
ああ。風邪は
聞いてない。
ならよかった。
なあ、腹減ってね。ラーメン行こうよ。俺、いいもん持ってる。ほら。
おお。はい、お待ちどう。いただきます。
うまそう。いただきます。
あっち。キリさん、お疲れ様です。うん。お疲れ様です。今日の集会はいらっしゃいますか？おお、うん、多分。後でな。
お。キイチさん、偉そう。
やめろ、からかうな。看板がでっかくなったから、その分前みたいには、好きなように暴れらんなくなったけどな。
そっか、お前中学の頃からアニーに入ってたんだっけ？トール先輩とはチームで知り合ったんか？
ああ、中学が同じで、いろいろ面倒見てもらっててな。それで、アニーにも誘ってもらったんだよ。
付き合い長いね。
まあな。お前は確か、高校入学してすぐトールさんに喧嘩売ったんだろ。トールさんから聞いた。
そう。廊下でぶつかったから。そんでボコボコにされたの。なのに次の日、牛丼食いに行こうぜって声かけてくんだもんな。つうかあの人に勝ててないから、まだ俺、うちの学校の2番目だと思うんだけど。なんで俺が代表みたいに他校からも喧嘩売られるわけ？
トールさん、めったに学校来ないから、いないようなもんだし。
不思議な人だよね。多分、一生勝てない。
あの人のすごいところは、どんな時でも、あの人さえいれば大丈夫って思えるところだよ。もちろん喧嘩が強いのもあるけど。
だから兄はトール先輩の代ででかくなったんだろ。
みんな、トールさんについてきて入った奴らだからな。俺もそうだし。
こいつ、俺とトール先輩の噂知らねえのかな？知られたくねえな。再来週の月曜。ああ、その日、キイチとゲーセン行く約束してんだよね。
そんな先の約束までしてるんすか？
たまたまよ。あいつは集会とかもあるしさ。あ？何あいつら、柄悪。
お！来た来た。
なあ、あいつらさ。
北商業のやつらっすね。
だよね。新海、先に学校行ってて。
何言って？ 4 人ですよ。俺も。
4人なら行けるよ。
でも。
いいから行けって。
待っててくださいよ。すぐ。
大丈夫。こいつら、俺に恨みがあるだけでしょ。よう、片桐君。今日は4人だけでよかったのかな。たくさんいないと何もできないのに。
うっせえな、ペラペラと。今日で蹴りつけてやろうと思ってな。
いいって、もうそんなたくさん。ほら！あ？バイク？
よそ見なんて余裕あるな。後ろだよ。
ああ、いって片桐、公園着いてからどこ行ったのかと思ったよ。雑魚にやらせてねえでお前が来いよ。お前も来ればこれもう終わりなんだろ。
鉄パイプで殴ったんだぞ。石頭すぎんだろ。
早く、もう疲れてんの。
おいコータ、ちゃんと見とけ。
キイチ。
誰？遅くなっちまったな。お前邪魔。まだ残ってんじゃねえか。手抜いてんのか、コータ。
これでもだいぶ減らしたの。向こうにいた奴らを。
うるせえからぶっ飛ばしたよ。
お前ならわかんだろ。お前が動けば下手すりゃ兄も巻き込むって。しちゃダメだよ。
今日はチームとしてじゃねえ。俺が勝手にやったことだ。もし大事になっても、俺がトールさんに締められるだけだし。偶然、通りがかったらお前がボコられてたから、助けたってだけだ。
こんなとこ偶然通るかよ。しかもさっき遅くなったっつってたろ。
そうだっけ？ 俺がどうしようと、俺の勝手だろ。手伝ってやったお礼は、ラーメン大盛りと餃子でいいぞ。やべ、パトカーだ。通報されたから。逃げろ逃げろ。走れんのか、小田。
無理、おんぶして。本当におんぶしてくれんだね。
え？なんだよ、平気なのかよ。
やだ、降ろそうとすんな。キイチ、あったかいね。
寝るなよ、重たくなるから。
起きてるよ。
寝るなよ。おい、寝てるだろ。おい。
起きてるって。キイチ。
ん？
毎日おんぶしてくれてもいいよ。
何言ってんだお前。
コンビニと、あの頃が一番楽しかったな。あいつは覚えてねえんだろうな。10年か。
コタ。
あ、
どこまでタバコ買いに行ったのかと思った。
探した？ごめんね。
いや。
そうか。
寒いだろ、帰んぞ。ほら。よっ。歩けるか？
歩けない。おんぶして。
甘えんな。歩けないなら転がしてくぞ。
キイチ。
ん？
なんでもない。やっぱり俺、あの頃からキイチのこと好きなまんまだ。
やっぱ冷えたんだろう。お前、昔からすぐ風邪ひくんだから。
まだ冷えてねえし、あったかい。
コタ、さっき泣いてた。
え？泣いてねえよ。昔のことを思い出してただけ。
そうか。昔って？
高校の頃。もう10年以上前だよ。時間経つの早い。はい、お茶。
サンキュー。
あの頃から俺ら、この座り方がお決まりだったよな。
確かに、トールさんがこの部屋に住んでた頃も、コータンチでも同じように座ってたが、お前んち、いっぱい漫画あったよな。
兄弟で回し読みだからボロかったけどね。キイチさ、2年の秋ぐらいから毎日俺んち来てなかった？よく飽きなかったよな。だってすることっつったら漫画読むか、ゲームするか。そっか、あの頃。初めてキイチだ。
え？何？もう一回言って。
だから、他人にチンコ触ってもらったら、自分でするより気持ちいいんじゃねって。
お前、下ネタの時だけ真剣だよな。
そうだよ、俺は真剣だよ。
そんなだから彼女できねえんだよ。
うるせえ！お前だっていねえだろ。興味があんのは当たり前だ。年頃なんだから。
ああ。お前のそれは、彼女欲しいんじゃなくて、やりてえだけだろ。
だってデートとかすんのはだるいっていうか。キイチと遊んでる方が楽しいし、キイチと付き合ったら楽しいんだろうな。って、なんだそりゃ。で、どう思う？さっきの。
そうだな。確かに、でもどこ触ったらいいのかとか、人によって違うんじゃねえか？
おお。じゃあ指示しながらやってもらえば最高ということだ。
そういうもんなのか。
キイチロウくん。
やめろ、そんな顔でみんな。
俺もやってあげるから。
そういう問題？マジで言ってんのかよ。
だって気になるんだもん。一回だけ試してみようよ。面白そうだろ。
コータ。どうした？顔、真っ赤だぞ。
いや、お茶が熱いから。
やることっつったら、漫画読むかゲームするか。それか、なんだっけ？初めてした時みたいにやってやろうか。コータって、普段は自分から乗っかってくるくせに、俺から行くと恥ずかしがるの面白いよな。
ああ、そういうとこが可愛いの、俺は。
自分で言うかよ。ああ、 確かに、そういうのがお前の可愛いとこだよ。
急に真顔で言うなよ。本気で言ってんのかと思うわ。
服着ろ。
喜一ってさ、なんで俺とやるようになったの？
それはコウタが。
あの時ぶん殴って帰ればよかったじゃん。
ああ、まあ、そう。
やっぱ興味あったから？男でもまあいっか、みたいな。むっつりスケベ童貞だったもんな。
なんだそりゃ。童貞だったのはお前もだろ。でも、俺は、誰とでもするわけじゃねえよ。お前と違って。
あ？誰とでもって。
ちげえの。トールさんともしてたんじゃねえの。
は？
お前こそ、なんで俺と。
してねえよ。あの噂のことだろ。トール先輩と俺がって。言ったじゃん。ただの噂なんだって。
どこまでが？
どこまでって。
前に見ちまったことあんだよ。バイクの鍵机に忘れて取りに戻った時、教室でトールさんとお前がキスしてんの。
一番見られたくなかったとこ見られてたんだ。あれだけなんだよ、本当に。いきなりだったから俺も拒否るとかできなくて。ダメだ。何言っても言い訳みたいになれ。
別に責めてるわけじゃなくて、まあ、そういうこともあったから、俺は、コウタはトールさんのこと好きなんだと思ってたよ。
違う！俺は、喜一のことが好きなのに、何も言葉が出てこない。ごめん、仕事の電話だわ。はい、平井です。お世話になってます。いえ、大丈夫ですよ。はい、3ケースですね。承知しました。
紙使え。
ありがとう。はい、じゃあ明日お持ちしますね。いえ、とんでもない。はーい、失礼します。紙ありがとう。よかったもん。原稿用紙使っちまって。
いっぱいあるから気にすんな。
小説の方は順調？
話そらしたの？
聞いてんだから答えろ。つうかどんな話なの？
秘密。
なんだよもったいぶって。
コウタ、小説とか読まねえだろ。
今は読むって。新聞だって毎日読んでんだから。
大人になったね、コウタくんも。
信じてねえなお前。もう大人になんねえとだろ。俺らも。喜一郎くんは大人になった？
俺はまだまだだよ。会社で暴れた時に、全部振り出しに戻っちまったな。
大人になるってなんだろうね。
そうだな。よくわかんねえけど、自分にとっての大事なものとか、人を守れるようになることなんじゃねえの？昔は何でもぶん殴って解決してたけど、それ以外の方法で。
なるほど。大事なもので思い出したわ。トール先輩と最後に会った時に話してたんだけど、コウタの一番大事なもんって何って。喜一は何が大事？俺はね、仕事一筋っすって答えて笑われた。
大事にするもんなんて一個じゃなくてよくね？もっと強欲になれよ
って言われたな。
そうか。
寝ようぜ。俺明日も早いのよ。
おう。
喜一、起きてる？やっぱなんでもない。本当はさっきの話、続きがあって、あの後言われたんだ。
コウタは、喜一のこと好きなんじゃねえの？
でも、あいつにとっての俺は違いますよ。
あいつが言ってたの？
いや、ちゃんと話したこととかはないですけど。
なんだよ。お前らがそんなにチンタラしてんなら、俺がお前のこと奪っちゃえばよかった。
喜一、寝た？俺が欲張りなのかな。若者の地元離れね。高校卒業と同時に地元を離れる。まあそりゃ多いだろ そういや、キイチが東京に行ったのも高3の時だったな。
東京、行くことになった。親の転勤で。
卒業まであと少しだし、自分だけ残ることも考えたけど、とか言ってたけど、あんまり覚えてない。あの頃の兄はよそのチームとの揉め事が続いていて、トール先輩から装置を引き継いだキイチはいつも傷だらけだった。たまに学校に来てもずっと寝てて、屋上にも来なくなった。チームを立て直したら早々に次の代に引き渡して、あいつはさっさと転校していった。その後浪人して大学行ったらしい、とか風の噂で聞いた。卒業して周りの奴らも地元を離れていって。俺は実家の酒屋を継いだ。たまにやるせなくなるんだよな。俺の人生って平凡でつまんねえな。ダメダメ、マイナス思考。じいちゃんの、そのまたじいちゃんの時から続いてる店。じいちゃんが死んだ後は、ばあちゃんが母ちゃんの代わりに俺ら3兄弟を育てながら守ってきた店だ。小さい酒屋だけど潰すわけにはいかねえ。弟たちは俺と違って勉強得意だし、大学行きたいとか言うなら行かせてやりてえし、まだまだ俺が頑張んねえとな。はあ、
こうちゃん。おはよう。もう店開いてる？
おはようございます。開けてますよ。どうぞ。昨日いいの入ったんすよ。
本当？
これ、冷やおろし入ったんですよ。
いいね。それも一本もらおうかな。いやー、こうちゃんもすっかり店長らしくなって。ほら、昔は、中瓶投げ倒したりとかさ。
ああ、その話やめてくださいよ。
今じゃ新しい居酒屋にもどんどんおろしたりしてるらしいじゃない。
おかげさまでね。
こうちゃんがいるから、店も安泰だね。
安泰ね。今日配達多いな。よーし、行きますか。じゃあ、平井酒店です。平井酒店です。ビール2ケースっすね。毎度。よし、次でラスト。この10年ひたすら駆け抜けてよかった。忙しくしてれば好きだった奴のことなんか忘れられる。今日は波も静かだ。働き始めてから一人でもよく海に行くようになった。仕事がうまくいった時も、失敗した時も。そうだ。そういえば俺、この街が好きなんだよな。トール先輩はよく、
自分の好きなもんとか、大事なもんに誇りを持て。
って言ってた。この街で店切り盛りして弟たちを幸せにするのが今の俺の誇りなんだ。それはきっとつまんない人生なんかじゃない。お
やめろっつうな。待ておい。
高校生か。懐かしい。俺らも昔はああやって遊んだもんだよな。海に突き落とし合ったり。
おわ、ワカメ投げんな。
花火したり。ケイチと二人でただ海を眺めてたこともあったな。俺が海見たいっつったらいつも一緒に来てくれたよな、あいつ。あ、
今日うち来ね。
おケイチがこの町に帰ってきてから2ヶ月ぐらい誘われるたびに会ってるけど、あいつまた急にどっか行くかもしれないし。そしたらどうせまた音信不通だろ。ケイチにとっての俺はその程度なんだって10年前に分かってんだから、余ると痛い目見るってのも分かってるんだけどな。いいよ、すぐに返事を送るな。はぁ、決めた。家に行っても今日はエッチしない。都合のいい男になってどうする。トール先輩、俺のこと大事にすれば自分が傷つくって分かってんのに、それでも大事にしてくれたのがあんたでしたけど、俺はそこまでできた人間にはまだなれないです。あるよ。
おお、鍵開いてるから入って。
お、ラーメン。
ああ、それ、商店街のくじ引きで当たった。
へえ、喜一にしてはくじ運いいじゃん。
1年分の分使ったな。
じゃあ、今日はラーメンとビールだな。
もう飲むのかよ。
いいだろ、お前も飲め。
飲む。今日は俺が飯作る。つっても、ラーメン茹でるだけだけど。
おう、ラッキー。鍋シューシュー言ってんじゃん。吹きこぼれてね。
ああ、やべ。麺がくっついた。
夜間も沸騰してんだろ。なあ、喜一もいつか俺のこと好きになったりしないかな。
ああ、なんで？危ね。また吹きこぼれる。
なんでもない。
なんだよ。
やっぱ味噌ラーメンにはビールだよな。北海道生きてー。何食ってもうまいんだろうな。ラーメンと寿司とジンギスカンも食ってみたいんだよね。あ、俺の顔見て笑ったか？
違う違う。
なんかついてる。
顔が面白くて笑ったわけじゃねえよ。豪太は本当楽しそうに笑うよなと思って。
俺そんなに明るくないよ。ネチネチしてるし。
そうか。どういうとこが？
秘密、お前には教えてやんない。
おお。
喜一が小説のこと何も教えてくんないから仕返し。
ほうほ
う。おい、何？
お前は本当なんでもないとか、お前には言わないとか多いんだよ。
うわ、くすぐんのはずりーぞ、おい。俺くすぐられんのダメなんだって。
知ってる。だからやってんだよ。
しないって決めてたのに。それ、楽しいの？
考えんのは楽しいかな。
へえ。
うまくいかないとイライラするけどな。
喜一昔から頭良かったもんね。
勉強ができるってだけだよ。
それって頭いいってことだろ。
勉強できんのと頭いいのとは少し違えよ。
そっか。喜一には、俺の知らない大学生活やサラリーマン生活があって、いつの間にか俺の知らない人になってたんだな。怒って暴れるのは昔通りっぽいけど、いきなりいなくなったり、いきなり帰ってきたり、自分勝手なとこも変わってないかな。もし今また、喜一がこの街から出てったら、頭から離れない。俺はまた、喜一がいない生活に戻れるのかな。腹減ったからもう一袋ラーメン食っちゃおっと。
待て、火使うなら上に何か着ろ。こないだお湯跳ねて火傷しただろ。
おう、ありがとう。
俺の分も頼む。
オッケー。はい、洗い物増えるのだるいから鍋のままな。
俺が作ったのと違う。いただきます。
冷蔵庫にあった野菜適当に入れただけだよ。俺はきっと、喜一が本当は優しいってことも。
豪太が作った方がうめえわ。うまいうまい。
笑顔が結構可愛いとか、俺の大してうまくもない飯を美味しいって言って食うところも、俺が喜一を好きだってことも、もう忘れられない。喜一がいなくなったら、きっと昔みたいには立ち直れない。俺も食いたい。
おい。
でも今の俺には守らなきゃならないものがあるから。
自分で食え。
だから今度は置いてかれる前に、俺からおしまいにしよ
う。何また泣きそうになってんだよ。
泣いてねえよ。バイバイ、喜一。
ここに来た頃は白紙だったのに、もうすぐ書き終わる。この町に来てから、だいぶ経つってことだ。これからもこのままこの町で、と思うけど。いい加減、はっきりさせねえと。10年前、俺はコウタに気持ちを伝えず、町を出た。でもコウタは、急に帰ってきた俺を、 昔と同じように受け入れてくれた。俺はまた曖昧なままにして甘えてる。けじめをつけた方がいいに決まってる。けど、あいつ、今も頻繁に徹さんの墓参りしてるし、多分まだ、徹さんのこと。ここで考えてもキリねえな。買い物行こう。悪いね。いつも無理言って。
全然いいですよ。
あれ、今日は配達出てないのか？お店好調でしょ。手を広げようとかないの、光太くん。思わず立ち止まってしまった。灰皿を借りただけ、断じて立ち聞きしてるわけじゃない。断じて。
いやー、現状維持で精一杯ですよ。
将来、やってみたいこととかさ。
そうだな。いつか自分が厳選した銘柄だけ置くような店とか、などはもっと酒蔵とか行って勉強してみたいっすね。俺あんま酒強くないんですけど。俺はね、仕事一筋っすって答えて笑われた。キイチは何が大事？
コウタには、コウタの大事なもんや、守るもんがある。じゃあ俺の大事なものって。あの時の返事、してないままだな。徹さん、本当はあんたが生きてる間にちゃんとしなきゃいけなかったのにすみません。俺もけじめつけます。
そういや、キイチ今日徹先輩の墓行った？
言った。
やっぱお前か。タバコ置いてあったからそうかなって。今日は月命日だもんね。
また忘れてた。コウタはまめに墓参りしてるよな。
なんだかんだ一番世話になったしよ。俺、弟しかいないから兄貴みたいでさ。でももっと世話になってたのはキイチの方だろ。
ああ、そうだな。いろんなことを教えてもらったよ。それこそ、兄貴みたいに。お前とつるむようになったのも、あの人がきっかけだろ。感謝しねえとな。昔、徹さんが海行こうっつって、真冬に入ったことあったよな。
いやー、あったな、それ。俺は入りたくないって言ったのに。
で、三人とも風邪ひいたんだよな。なあ、久しぶりに海行くね。
ああ、いいよ。俺もキイチと行きたいって思ってた。こんな朝早くに歩いて行くかよ、普通。つうか、まだ夜じゃね？寒い。
もうすぐ着くだろ。
カイロとか持ってない？
ねえよ、マフラーも貸してやっただろ。見てみろ、綺麗だぞ。
おー、ちょっと明るくなってきてる。俺、朝の海に来るの初めてかも。綺麗なもんだな。おい、キイチ。え？
寒い。
当たり前だろ。何やってんだよ。
気合い入れようと思ってよ。
気合？
お前に話したいことが。
俺も。
先どうぞ。
いや、そっちこそどうぞ。
俺がこの町に帰ってきてから結構経つだろ。けじめつけたくてな。
けじめ？なんの？
コウタがまだ徹さんに未練があるとしてもよ。
ねえよ。てかそもそもそういうのじゃねえって。
どうしたらコウタが俺に殴ってくれるかなって考
何？聞こえねえよ。
仕事辞めちまったし、もう俺に残ってるのって小説しかないんだよ。これから応募する小説でデビューして有名な小説家になったらちゃんと迎えに行くから。そしたら俺と一緒になってくんね。
もう聞こえねえって。
コウタ、おい。
お前さ、俺が徹先輩のこと好きっていうその思い込みマジでどうにかしろよ。何度も言ってんだろ。そりゃ説得力ねえだろうけどさ。俺は 俺はキイチが好きなんだよ。あの頃からずっと。つうか、徹先輩のこと好きだったな。お前とあんなことしないで、徹先輩と付き合ってたって。もしお前に告白したら、徹先輩とお前の間で気まずくなるかなとか、チームのこともあるだろ。だったら黙ってた方がいいかとか考えて。
コウタ、意外と色々考えるもんな。
お前が考えてなさすぎなんだよ。
やっと、こっち見たら。
本当は、俺に勇気がなかっただけ。うだうだしてたら、お前は東京行っちまってさ、忘れようとしたのに。会ったらまた好きになっちまって。でも、例えばね、お前がまたこの街出てって、もう一回一人になったとしたら、さすがにもう立ち直れる自信ないの、俺。だから今度は俺から、もう終わりにしようって今日は話すつもりだったんだけど。
俺は、徹さんに勝てるとこ一つもないからよ。きっと喧嘩も、見た目も、性格も。
んなことねえよ。
どうでもよかったのかもな。お前と徹さんが、実際どうだったかなんて。俺は、徹さんに何にも勝てないままじゃ、コウタに好きって言えない気がしてて。コウタは徹さんが好きなんだろって、決めつけてただけなのかもしれねえな。今俺にできんのは、小説で有名になって、それを土産にお前を迎えに行くことだけなんだよ。なあ、待っててくんねえか。あんま時間かけないようにするから。
それ、俺が何言っても聞かねえやつだな。
でも、コウタは待っててくれるだろ。
甘ったれんな。寒いな、ちくしょう。
ずっと使ってると麻痺してこね。寒くねえんだけど。
じゃあ泳いでこいよ。俺は寒いから帰る。2年後。
行ってきます。
おう、行ってらっしゃい。どうした？
兄ちゃん、髪切んねえの？八百屋のおばちゃんもむさ苦しいって言ってたよ。
嘘！いいのこれは。なんだよその顔は。早く行けよ、遅刻すんぞ。まったく。願掛けなんて、意味あるかわかんねえけど。喜一が書いた小説は、短い話がいくつか集まったものなんだけど、それぞれの話が繋がっていて、特に最後の方、海辺のシーンが印象的だった。夜中の海はどこまでが海で、どこからが空なのかもわからないほど真っ黒。でも明け方になると、たちまち海の色は太陽に染まって、それを主人公はただ立ち尽くして眺めているっていう。俺はなんとなくそのシーンが気に入っていた。なんとなく喜一みたいだと思ってた。すんげえ眩しくて、ぶれない力強さを持ってるんだ。自分勝手で圧倒される時もあったし、それが羨ましい時もあったな。
そうは、鳴海喜一郎。初の受賞となり。
今、鳴海って。いらっしゃい。一応9時からなんで、今レジ開けるから、ちょっとだけ待ってもらって。
悪いな、朝早くに。
すげえタイミング。今ちょうどラジオでニュースやってたよ。
読んだ？
読んだよ。
これ、やるよ。
読んだっつってんだろ。
サイン書いてやろうか。
いらねえよ。てか本当に賞取ったの、お前。すげえな。おめでとう。
それで来たんだよ。コウタ、約束覚えてるか？
約束？
迎えに来た。コウタ、好きだ。お前がこの先も笑って生きていけるようにする。それにもう、どこにも行かない。だから、俺を選んで。
お前さ、待たせてる間に俺に恋人とかできてたらって考えねえの？
だったら、口説き落としてまた好きになってもらう。
お前そんな器用なことできねえだろ。
やるしかねえよ。そんな目こするなよ、俺の手で。
うるせえ。
まつげに髪引っかかってる。ほんと、髪伸びたな。
誰のせいだと。
え？
そんだけ待たせてたんだ。お前が。
俺が来るまで切らないでいたのかよ。
そうだよ。そしたらこんなに伸びたの。
そっか。
なんだよ、ニヤニヤしやがって。
かわいいな。
おう。キイチにそういうの言われるの慣れない。
なあ、それで返事は？
わかんねえ。
うん。
わかんだろ、これで。はずいから、もうさ。
こうた。本の最後にな。太陽は真っ黒な海さえも、その光で染めてしまったって。書いたんだけどな。
ああ、あの文好き、俺。
あれ書きながら、こうたみたいだって思ってた。お前は周りを明るくするから。今、お前の顔見てて思い出した。
俺はね、読みながら、キイチみたいだなって思ってたよ。なんつうか、明けないでほしい夜もあるけど、早く朝になってほしい夜もあるじゃん。でも、夜が明けるときはいつでも綺麗で、どんだけ待たされたりムカついてても、お前の顔見れば全部吹っ飛ぶのと同じかなって。
いつも待たせてばっかでごめんな。ごめん。
それでも迎えに来るからな、キイチは。謝んなくていい。謝んなくていいから、いっぱい好きって言って。
それはこれから先、たくさん言ってやる。
俺、どんな顔して店に立ってたらいいんだろう、今日。
なあ、仕事終わったら飲みに行かね？
いいよ。じゃあ、18時に商店街の花屋の前な。
わかった。そんで、夜中に海行って、日が昇るの見よ
いいけど、もう海入んねえからな。
う。なんだよ、夏だから平気だろ。
足がベタベタするから嫌なの。お前だけ入れ。
So, the last week, so like not this week, but last week, was really exhausting, and I was really exhausted. And I think I told you guys about this on Monday already. That I sort of noticed that I pushed myself a little bit too much, and that I don't feel like I'm at sort of like the base level of energy, like I usually am, but I still sort of feel like somewhat like exhausted from the week before. And to be fair, I think I could have taken it more seriously. Like, I definitely think I did sort of like, I don't know, like I wanted to like do the stream on Monday still, and thought like, okay, well, like I'm just gonna, like chill on Tuesday and Wednesday. But then on Tuesday, I just got sucked into making those new emotes. So yeah, that was sort of annoying. But I'm also like at the same time I'm like really happy with the emotes, but I just considering like today evening we're gonna start on this like trip to Germany, I just feel like I should have rested. So yeah, on Tuesday I was doing those emotes and then also didn't like really get the rest. And actually also Zach noticed the same thing. So on Tuesday evening we had sort of like a bigger like a wait, was it Tuesday evening or was it Wednesday? No, I think it was Tuesday evening. Maybe it was Wednesday. But yeah, essentially we had sort of like a bigger talk about how we both sort of recognize or like, well, Zach sort of like came to me with like that he's also like really exhausted and that he feels like less connection in the relationship, which I also shared. And then we had sort of like a bigger talk about how we're both exhausted, and that's probably sort of why, because we both had like the week before we got like a lot of things done and didn't have like too much time where we like really spent the time together sort of, but just part of like next to each other, like everybody doing their tasks sort of, because he was writing like a application for like a new job he really wanted to get and did like a lot of extra work for that job application. And yeah, Zach was really sort of like bummed out about this. He's always very, I don't know, it's very hard for him to sort of accept that like being exhausted has influence on you, sort of. He's like easily disappointed, I guess. That he can't like pull through or keep going and stuff like this, even though it's just like a very normal thing, right? So we sort of talked about how we're gonna like on Wednesday then gonna like really chill, sort of like as much as we can, and we're just gonna order food so we don't have to cook and stuff like this, and sort of like just take off the workload. And yeah, that's like sort of what we did. So on Wednesday we like really tried to just like chill, and we were watching like series and stuff like this. But it wasn't perfect either, because we were watching like I just noticed like sort of afterwards how I'm still exhausted. And I honestly think that was because the series we were watching, like we were watching the new episode of the new Critical Role campaign, and it's really like fast paced and really like has a lot of tension, is really interesting, it's really exciting. And I genuinely just think it was like too exciting, like it was not like chill enough, sort of. Um And I mean, like still had to work, right? So that was like a lot of, um, I don't know, like chilling the entire day wasn't really in it. But we definitely like recovered a bit, and we definitely like connected and reconnected, which was really good and important. Um, and I don't know, like we always sort of like forget how important it is to really like how much connection you can actually get from like sharing what you struggle with your partner. um and I don't know, so I'm sort of like really happy that the topic came up, and then we did end up talking about it and really had this moment where we could like reconnect to each other. And yeah, so I feel like we're definitely still a little bit exhausted, I guess, and the next days are not going to be less exhausting, right? Because we're going to be on this like event in Germany. But and we're gonna be around friends, so it's just gonna be like socially, like there's, I don't know, there's just more work you do, sort of. And yeah, then next week is starting already. But the goal we sort of made for ourselves is that we're just gonna take it chill, or like as chill as we can. So sort of like don't stress about like, I don't know, seeing the whole convention and stuff like this, but just sort of like enjoying the things we do see and making the most out of it in terms of like balancing energy and really being able to enjoy it with the things we want to see. And yeah, so therefore I'm still a bit exhausted, but at the same time I'm really, I don't know, I'm really happy and proud of myself, because I sort of like did recognize it earlier on, and because I did recognize it directly after next week, even though I didn't like necessarily instantly act on it, it's like not as bad as it could be. Like usually those things, like especially like back in the day for me, just went into like I don't know, like a half burnout type situation. And nowadays I'm just, I don't know, yeah, I see like after 1 week like, oh, okay, I'm still exhausted, so I should take myself a bit back. And I think, for example, today we're gonna do like a little bit shorter as well, or like at least that's my plan. Let's see if that works. But yeah, I'm sort of like, I'm happy that I noticed it, and I'm proud of myself that I did, and I'm proud of myself that I did plan on taking more rest. What I definitely do want to make better next time is that I do actually do that rest, and not let myself get sort of like sidetracked by feeling like, oh, I just quickly do this on the PC. But that I'm just like instantly like, no, I said it's rest day, so I'm not gonna start the PC. I'm just gonna read my book. I'm gonna chill in a corner and just sort of like this. And yeah, so that's the idea, sort of. And then what I'm really proud of is sort of like how we sort of like reconnected, because Zach and I have we have sort of like a pattern from back then, that when we both feel like overwhelmed or like exhausted, we sort of like disconnect from each other. And in those moments then we don't, how do I say this? We're just, I don't know, like we're just a little bit more touchy around each other, I guess. And I don't mean touchy in terms of like physical touch, but in terms of like being easier to like irritate and or sad and stuff like this. And so I don't know, like when that pattern came up then again, it was, I don't know, it was way easier to just talk about it and have like a really like conflict resolving talk, instead of sort of like diving into this pattern and I don't know, just like blaming each other and sort of like putting that emotion you had from just being exhausted like onto the other person. And yeah, I think I'm just like really proud of my how I was able to sort of like communicate and articulate all of that and handle that conversation, because I think I did a really good job on sort of like resolving that conflict or disconnection. Um, and yeah, then I already started a new exposure therapy. So last week we had exposure therapy with like darkness in rooms. Now we have exposure therapy with sleeping in the bedroom with the door open. Which to me is a little bit crazy, but anyways. um which was, funnily enough, it was just fine. So not really sure how, if that has properly worked, sort of. Like, I feel like maybe the situation is not really correlating enough with sleeping at different people's places. But I think now with like being at my grandma's, I guess I can try that again. Even though I don't know if it is sort of like translating to that situation. But yeah. So I guess that's also why I've just been more exhausted, because exposure therapy is really exhausting. But I take more breaks in between to sort of do it in like steps. Well, just got a book from a friend. I need to read that from a friend. Need what? I just got a book from a friend. Need to read that next days. Oh, okay. Which book is it? Yeah, but sort of to finish it off, I guess. What I did recognize in therapy is that with now that therapy is ending, it's like my therapy is gonna end like end of this year. And it's a really odd feeling because I still have like lots of things I want help with and support with. But yeah, we just sort of like I don't know, like we believe I'm gonna be like done at the end of this year. Where I feel like, okay, that's like great that we believe it, but it's at the same time it's like I just notice how there's like how I'm like scared to not have enough time to get all of the things through that I want to get help with. And how I low-key like stress myself to make the appointments like as productive as possible. And I feel like that's just like it makes sense, right? Why I do this. But at the same time, it's just sort of like, well, you know, it's an odd feeling to sort of like to have something which was kind of like a part of my life, of my like weekly routine, ending then. So that's like a really weird feeling. And it's also a bit scary because I'm like, will I be ready? Like, will I be fine on my own, sort of? Where I do sort of feel like, yeah, but like, I don't know, I guess I'm like a bit scared that there's something I don't see. which is gonna make it an issue or something. Or that it's just like hitting me harder than I think it will. But it's definitely, I think it's definitely gonna suck to sort of like lose a friend. Because that's the annoying part. Like, I don't know, like some people have therapists they don't, I don't know, they don't care too much about. But I really, really like my therapist and we have amazing vibes. And I don't know, he's like barely older than me, I think. And it's just like, I don't know, like he really feels like a friend. And it's so annoying that this friendship now just has to end, sort of. Yeah. Am I a bad person for listening to metal? Why do you think that? And welcome to the stream, Idle Hands. But yeah, so interesting times in therapy. Definitely challenging to sort of like get to the end and do so much like exposure therapy. But yeah, I don't think I'm a bad person for it, but I get a lot of slander for it. Do you understand their, like, do they voice like concerns or something? Or like, do you understand their concerns? People just usually call me a psycho for it. Who are those people? Like, do they know you or do they just, I don't know. It's not even the heaviest kind of metal. I mean, even if it were. Just random people. I think they maybe can't understand you, you know? And like they can't relate to you or understand why you like metal because they don't. I'm not really into metal, so I don't know any of the songs. But I think if, I don't know, like there's, with some music groups, right, there's like ethical concerns people have. There's like, I don't know, like they're sexist or racist or stuff like this. And then it's more about the artist or the band in specific than the music genre, right? So I don't think a genre for itself is like can have the implications that a person is bad. At least I'm not sure if there's like a genre which is just sort of like ethically bad or whatever. I don't think there is. I think it's usually like just specific artists or something like this. And then it's also like not connected to just the music in specific, right? But it's more of like that you, by listening to the music, support a message like that. And that is sort of being judged. So I think if people judge you for just listening to a genre where there's like no, like you say yourself, like you don't really understand it and they don't know you, so they don't really understand you. and it's, I don't know, just a genre of music, I don't think you're a bad person for it now. Like, I don't know. I think it's like really cute that you like are concerned about this, and that you try to that you listen to them and you sort of like take it serious in a way. But you know, if you like try to look for evidence on their opinion and there is none, then it's not something you need to be concerned about, you know? It's the same with like anything else, really, in our society. If like there's like a lot of people are concerned about things, right? But it always sort of depends if there's like a reason for it, and if you agree with that reason or not, sort of. So I don't know, for example, that like, I don't know, Trump is the president of the United States, like that's concerning for a lot of people. And if you try to understand them then and see their reasons, it makes a lot of sense, right? And I don't know, I think the people who call you a psycho for like listening to heavy metal, if they don't know you, they are probably more concerned for you, because they just see this genre and they see it's like really loud and like, I don't know, maybe like to some people, like to me, I think it would be even like hurtful, maybe. Like just because I'm sensitive to stimuli, sort of. And I would definitely never. And I think that's maybe just why they're like concerned in that regard, you know? But I think if it's fine for you and if you like really enjoy it, it doesn't. It's also like the concern doesn't make you like a bad person, right? It just also means that like they're like are you fine, you know? But yeah, we like peanut butter and jellies. I'm not fine. Hmm. But I'm good. How do you mean that? And peanut butter and jelly sandwich, I tried it. It's not as bad, but it's not my favorite. I don't like the texture of it. And welcome to the stream, Potato Man. The travel to uni is sort of a hustle. Do you need to go soon, Fluffy, or how's that topic coming up? I'm like good, but not. Should that mean something like you're at the moment you're good, but in general sense you're mentally unstable? I feel everything and nothing at the same time. I feel like listening to stuff like heavy metal, or for example also watching series which have like a, I don't know, just like horror and stuff like this, makes a lot of sense if we feel numb. Because if you feel numb, you don't really feel alive. And usually we sort of do want to feel alive. And I think that's why we then look for like really, really heavy stimuli to make us feel alive. For example, like heavy metal music. or I don't know, sometimes also like really like hardcore rap or whatever. Or yeah, just like series which are like a lot, sort of like, which have a lot of stimuli. I walked for 8 hours every day for a few months while fasting for up to 5 days at a time. Oh, why? This seems like a lot. I'm already on my way there. Good luck, Fluffy. Maybe you can find something good about the travel. I have no clue why, I just did it. Do you think it's good or bad for you? Like, do you like how it makes you feel, or do you don't like how it makes you feel? Yeah, how does it make you feel? It was bad for my body, but I just felt like I was floating throughout the few months. Have you ever considered therapy or have been in therapy? I've never gone and I don't plan on going. Is there a reason for that? Do you not believe in therapy, or is it like expensive, or like, I mean, there's like many different reasons, right? I don't really believe it would help me at all. I just disregard my issues a lot of the time, so I convince myself I have no problems. How is that working? Like, is it working well so far? I'm still breathing, so I'd say so. I gotta go. Alright. Goodbye, Fluffy. You're at the gym right now still? How did you like the procrastination talk, by the way, before? Could you relate to it? Or do you not believe in what I said? Do you think it could help about sort of like thinking about the goals a little more sort of like clearly and actively? Making a list and stuff like this? Also, idle hands, what is your goal of life? What is like how do you want to live life? What is the what is the life you want to achieve? I'd like to have a family someday. Kids and grandkids and whatnot. That sounds really great. Sounds like a really, I don't know, like a really good life. Sounds like a happy life. Sounds also sort of like you're mentally stable in that life. Obviously on money. Fair. Family, I'm into spirituality, so that's and I have a dream to help others who are struggling with mental health, but I don't know how. Gotta help myself first, I guess. It's really good to help yourself first. Definitely. Sometimes, I don't know, like we have a lot of people who sort of like think they can, like, I don't know, it's sort of like always in a gamble, if you help others, if you didn't help yourself yet. Because sort of like the way you live life is leading you to the life you live, right? So it's sort of like giving advice will lead others to the life you live right now. So sort of like if you live like, I don't know, if you're like half still in depression, then it's like, yeah, probably rather leads to depression than out of depression, sadly. I think awareness of mental health has increased, but there's still a lot of people struggling around me, and I feel the need to build something for them. I understand. That makes a lot of sense. It's definitely also the thing why I'm here, sort of, right? I think sometimes just like being there for the other person to talk to can already help. Like here. Right. Idle hands. I fear you might have not heard what I asked you. So I'm just gonna repeat it. It sounds like a really happy, idyllic life. It sounds like a mentally stable life and happy life. Is it that? Potato Man, this stream is for people to talk about really vulnerable things and open up. And this is not easy to do. So I don't know. I don't really want to pull this into ridiculousness. And I ask you to do the same. Let's just respect what the other people are doing here. Let's respect how they're vulnerable, you know? and that this takes strength to speak up like this. All right. Bye. I think it's only going to get worse. People's mental health, the way it's going, it'll be a pandemic already, is a silent one. I'm not entirely sure, actually. I think it can still go both ways. But I definitely think that we, for example, need more therapists. So I don't know, like where you live, Stelt, or like what age you are, maybe. But if you have the chance to study psychology and become an actual therapist, definitely do. I think this is the best way, and you don't need to be healed when you like start studying, because it's gonna take time, right? So I don't know, if you can start already, then definitely do that. I think it would be a very happy life. I think so too. So what do you think needs to change, Idle Hands? I think I need to grow through my issues. How does that work directly? Learn how to love yourself. Is there more? I always put myself last. I care about how everyone else feels more than I do about how I feel. Is there more? People tell me it's okay to put yourself first, but it feels selfish to me. What do you think about others when they put themselves first? And you can be honest here. There's nobody who's gonna be offended. Probably nobody from your direct social circle. I don't think much of it, honestly. Yeah, it's not bad, right? It's just what they do, what people do. There's actually some jobs which expect you to put yourself first. Funnily enough, it's usually jobs where you care for others. For example, like a doctor. For example, also like a psychologist or therapist. And I'm not saying like everybody does it in that field, right? It's also a struggle. But in these jobs, for example, if a doctor is not taking really good care of himself, he can't really take that good care of others. Because, for example, if his like physical health is not as good, and if he's not like eating properly, not doing like proper sports and stuff like this, he's probably gonna get sick easier. And he wouldn't be able to be there for his patients or see as many sick patients as if he's like really healthy and won't get sick from seeing those patients. And this is something we don't really get taught too much, right? But apparently, if you really care about others and if you really care about helping others, you need to put yourself first. You need to take care of yourself so good that nothing anybody else does is going to put you off your game. Sort of like, no matter how sick they are, you're not going to get sick because your health is that good. No matter how depressed they are, you're not going to get depressed. And you can feel all of these like negative feelings they feel without getting into a negative headspace yourself. And I feel like it's really like I say this to you, and I know that even I struggle with this a lot, also with this stream, because it's like it's hard to put that time into yourself, knowing that there's other people you could spend that time on. But it's just sort of connected to the quality you can offer if you are sort of like at your best. And apart from that, there's like, if you say like it feels wrong to you if you take care of yourself, even though it feels like normal to others. Have you, like, how do you feel when you try that? Like, when you notice, okay, like, I don't want to do this, like, this feels wrong, but you still do. Have you ever tried that? Because it can offer like a lot of like so like if you haven't, that's no problem. But it can offer a lot of knowledge actually to sort of face that. In some cases, my girlfriend would practically command me to take care of myself first. Hmm. Hmm. But have you ever done it on your own, sort of? Because I wonder what the inner story to this would be. Like where the resistance sort of would be the most, you know? Like for example, like do you don't want to do it because you maybe don't know how to take proper care of yourself? So you feel like, or your body feels like, well, this is like, I don't know if this is helping anyhow, or if this just is like wasted time. It can also be that one is like scared of how society is seeing that, and if society is thinking you're selfish. Sort of like there's a lot of different stories which can sort of evolve around that behavior. And it can be like really beneficial to know which story is evolving around that pattern for yourself, so you're able to sort of like fact check that that story, I guess. I do the bare minimum to keep myself healthy most of the time. Mm. Do you have a plan how to go from your position now in your mental state right now to go to the life you want with kids and grandkids and being happy, being mentally stable, being able to be a good parent, being the parent you want to be? I don't have a plan necessarily, but I'm going to try my best not to resort to substance abuse. Well, I mean, substance abuse is gonna get you there, right? So substance abuse is more like um I'm not gonna take a step down into the toxic cycle, right? That's been a problem in your family for a long time. Mm. That's sort of the thing where therapy comes in. Like, what picture do you have of therapy? What do you think is therapy, or does therapy do? If I can ask you. And again, just say what you think. Like, don't worry about being polite or whatever. I don't usually like talking about my problems with people. I feel like a burden every time I do it, and I rarely get anything out of it. But someone feeling bad for me, which is something I never want. Hmm. I understand. Mm. If it helps, your therapist is getting paid to do what they do, right? So it's definitely like I understand why, for example, some people have resistances to like talk to their friends because they're like look at them, like they're like busy, you know, like they can't like you want to like you expect me to like put more on their plate, like look at them, like they're struggling already, like they're not going to be able to handle it. But with therapists, luckily, they're paid to do this job. Like they do it out of free will, um, and they get compensation for it. Like this is their job to do it, right? So it's not really like a burden. You're also like not the first person with those issues. You're not the person with the biggest issues. Like most therapists probably had an experience where somebody like died on them. So like it's in like a weird way, it can sort of like offer some comfort to know that like one is not really special with their problems at like for a therapist. Um like they usually like had lots of people like that already, you know. Um So this is not something where they're like, oh my god, I'm gonna be depressed now myself or something. Like they have learned how to deal with these emotions, and they have learned how to deal with carrying this burden, sort of. Um, and they have learned like at least good therapists. There's definitely like quality differences for sure. But a good therapist also sort of sees the person um, behind the face, you know? So they sort of like they will get what type of person you are, and they will get that you don't need like I don't know them to feel sad or to be compassionate or whatever, but that you just need solutions. Where I do want to add that sometimes these solutions will sort of need compassion. Because, for example, like you say yourself, you need to learn yourself. So you need to learn compassion towards yourself. Um, and honestly, maybe you don't like the feeling of other people having compassion for you because you can't really relate to that. Um, or some people feel also guilty for having compassion for themselves. Like there's a lot of stories around this again. But this is like sort of like what therapy can offer you is that you go there, you talk to a person which has clocked in to listen to problems of people. And to listen to people, for example, being even suicidal. And they, for one, are trained for this. So they actually can give you like good help. Like they know what to say, they know what to do, you know? it's not like a friend who's like way in over their heads in that moment, and who's also sort of like halfway, who has like even more pressure on them because you're one of their friends, right? And they don't want to say anything wrong, because they don't want to hurt you and stuff like this. And it's also about like, it's because your therapist doesn't know you yet, they get this clear picture, and don't have that pressure which family members or friends have. And yeah, and they have knowledge because they studied this. And that's how they can like really help you to find the way you want to go, you know, and achieve the goals you want to achieve. Because they're not going to put other goals on you. They're not going to tell you like some goals are stupid or whatever. Like, they just support you in the goals that you have, sort of. Like, they listen to you and they listen to your goals, and they try to just support you to be able to achieve these goals on your own. And you don't need to, in therapy, like, I don't know, like talk about like really old problems the entire time. And therapy also doesn't necessarily have this like awkward silence in between when you don't say something or whatever. Like, therapists know how to make it comfortable for people. And they also know when to make it uncomfortable. Good therapists. But that's also why like not every therapist is really suited for oneself. And sometimes we just need to switch therapists to find a therapist which is really suited for oneself. But getting a good life is not easy for everybody. Having this happy family and kids, being a good parent, like succeeding in life in that regard, that you're gonna lead a happy life, is not the same for everybody. It's not the same effort. Like, some people like yourself come from a background of substance abuse, you know? So it's, yeah. I'm sorry to cut the talk so suddenly, but I gotta get to sleep. I appreciate you for listening to me. Thank you. I gladly listen to you. I'm really, like, thank you for sharing so openly and vulnerably. I'm live every Monday and Thursday, so, you know, I would be glad if you come around again and we can talk a little bit more. I would really enjoy to be there for you, you know. So hopefully you find some good sleep, some good rest, and then we see each other the next time. Here's my Discord, by the way. And yeah. See you the next time, Idlands. Bye bye. So, yeah, that was a that was a rapid end to the talk. But that's fine. So, is there anybody else who wants to take part in a mental health check-in? Or not right now? Oh, actually, my Twitch is telling me that an ad is about to start. I don't know if that's really true, because sometimes it's just like really different the timing for me than it is for you, apparently. I don't know why that is. Like, this tool with like telling you when the ads are is technically supposed to like help you as a streamer to know when people can listen to you and when they don't. But we sort of like found out that it's just not accurate, it's just lying. So I don't know if you guys gonna get ads in 7 seconds or if you don't. But I'm just gonna use the time and make some tea and get something to, well, actually, I still have water. Go to the toilet and air out the room real quick, and then we see each other again. And if anybody else wants to take part in a mental health check-in, you're really welcome. Yeah, go for it. Oh, hi GeForce. Welcome, welcome. How you doing? I was about to make myself some new tea. I can switch the tea to later and wait with that. But I do need to go to the bathroom real quick. So I'm gonna be back in a minute, but you can definitely already sort of start or think about if you want to keep part, what did I want? If you want to take part in a mental health check-in, how you feel right now and how the rest of the past week has been, and yeah, just start with that if you want to. For how long you keep on streaming today? It's sort of like, it always sort of depends if we still have something to talk about or not. But usually there's like someone and something we talk about, or we find a topic to talk about. But I think maybe till 4 or like maybe 5. But yeah, I think around like 4 or 5 I'm gonna end today. Because today evening we're actually like still, yeah, driving over to Germany. So I still need to pack a few things, get ready, and take a break beforehand as well. So yeah, around 4 to 5 I would end the stream today. Or at least that's the plan. We'll see. But yeah. You would have time right now, if you have time right now, for the mental health check-in. I'm gonna start making boiling water, and I'm gonna be back in, yeah, 3 minutes or something. All right. I am back. I have to go quickly in 12 minutes, so at 50 or at like 51 or something. Because I put a cookie in the air fryer, so then I'm like gonna take it out, but that's not gonna take long. But yeah, thank you. So you do peer support? Yeah, exactly. So we're just peer support. And yeah, usually just sort of like I guess we sort of adjust to like what the person needs. So either like emotional support, or I don't know if they just want to rant, or if I don't know, sometimes I guess like a little bit of guidance or something. Yeah. Well, in the Netherlands, there's like workers who actually have the name of like sort of like experience worker or like expert or something. I guess it would be translated. And I don't have that qualification. So if that's a qualification you mean, I don't have that. I'm also not a therapist or anything. Like none of this support, like it's not professional. So this is just sort of like, I don't know. This is, I guess, like the first step for people who don't want to yet talk to a therapist, or who aren't like ready to talk to a therapist yet. Because there's, I don't know, I feel like there's a lot of resistance to actually seeking help from a therapist in our society. And I mean, then of course there's like waiting time. So for example, for people who are like on the waiting list but don't have anybody yet to talk to. So I don't know. I'm more of like, I guess like an online friend with my own experience plus some books and studies I read. So I guess you're a nerdy online friend. Yeah. I'm not Dutch, I'm German, but I live in the Netherlands since a few years. So yeah. How about you? I mean, I take it with an L in your name. You're maybe from the Netherlands? Except that an L is for something entirely different and not Netherlands. Gezellig. Ja. I was actually, when like there's a whole like culture around like Dutch comedy from like this like expat perspective, right? And about how important it is for like Dutch people to like on the cycling path to like cycle next to each other and cycle like gezellig, right? And I actually was once in the Netherlands by a Dutch person, right? I was like flamed for doing that, actually. And it was like on like a cycling road. So there was so much space to like pass us, like even for a car. And this guy was just on a bike and just was so mad at us for like cycling next to each other. Where I'm like, have you lived in the Netherlands? Are you sure you're Dutch? Because, like, what? I don't know. But yeah, to the critique of us being on a cycling street. And like, what does he mean? Like, there's a lot of space. He only came back with the answer of racism. So I guess there wasn't much reason for the critique anyways. Oh, Enig Recovery College in Utrecht! I live close to Utrecht. I'm just saying. Now, you know, like, we don't need to meet or anything. I'm just saying. I live close to Utrecht. Enig Recovery College. I didn't hear from that yet. Oh, wait. I need to... So, are you okay? My friend, where like I'm multitasking right now. Like today evening, I'm going to Germany for Spiel, which is like a board game event, so con whatever. And she just texted me. So the planning I knew was that we're meeting today evening at 7. That's why I'm like streaming right now till like 4 or 5. Because then I still have 2 hours. And then we're gonna like move to... What? Wait, call? Huh? Hi. So yeah, I got this message right now. Like, didn't we say like you maybe, or... Yeah, but I thought like for emotional support. And then we said like, oh, but you can also just drive that. You know? Like if somebody like comes along, then it's probably better for you to come along because you can actually drive the part. Mm-hmm. And then you would like work at home still, or... Hmm. I mean, you could like, would it be okay for you to still work at home for like an hour? Like if it doesn't happen, you know? Okay, then I would say like definitely do that, but I'm gonna text her and like figure out what the fuck's going on. Okay. Yeah, I mean, if you don't make it, don't stress yourself too much, okay? Like, we're gonna manage, but... Okay. So, see you then. I'm gonna figure it out. Bye. Okay. Funny story. Apparently, we had a misunderstanding. Give me a second. I know, like, I really wanted to, like, instantly have time for you. But I don't want to, like, leave them hanging, because apparently this is something I said. And I don't know when, but, like, um... Ah. I don't want to say which, I want to say with. It's not Halloween yet.